out.
All right.
Of course we're joking, guys, and do not take us seriously sometimes. Do take us seriously in game, but we're waiting for
Mostly.
those, and mostly, except for those like 15% that we talked. For the technical issue, seems like it's been resolved.
It's that Garrosh ban. I think that's going to be permanent for this series, despite the wink that OJ clearly gave me last game. Oh well. Genji going to be prioritized here with the first pick. Was banned last game. They went for the Maiev instead since they have first pick. And Mouth Tracer.
Yep. Tracer comes out a lot, and it's also because Feliz is. They look down onto the lower team, says, and then just say, "Oh, you can't really deal against my mechanics here." Just putting them down.
I mean, Dudu's a great tracer as well, but referring to mostly to the previous draft where we saw that picked up. But this case, obviously, he's going to be playing the Genji, so not a relevant statement. I think you just take Johanna again. Like, OJ's Johanna was amazing. Wave clear is super important on this battleground. Johanna has a long-range interrupt for Dragon Knight unleashes, the shield glare. So, you know, if you're going to run, even if you want to run the 1-3-1 with the Johanna, or the 4-man, you want it to be stronger, like, there's a million reasons why you just lock in JoJo. And they do. They're going to get the Dahaka for the top lane control as well. If Feliz drafting, I have no problems with it. Minus the Stitches game that we saw in Curse, like otherwise, I feel like their drafting has been phenomenal. It's very smart.
Yeah, and also Haka for the top solo lane to have control the global as well, which they were struggling against Supernova. They wanted to try something new. As Hamilton, it has a weird way, I would say unique way of playing the Dahaka. We'll see on the minimap, but we'll point that out when that happens.
We're not going to be able to see Tempest use their 1-3-1 Hanzo offlane soak with the ban for Good's Hanzo here. He's been playing a very back row based Hanzo thus far on this battleground, and part of the reason why they chose it, no doubt. So this is a very intelligent ban. I want to say, outside of Gen G, I think Feliz has been drafting better than any other team right now. The problem is execution is a little bit off, but I feel like when I look at what they're doing, it's everything I would do, and it's everything that like should be done in a best of series, like the adaptations they're making, etc.
Talk about adaptation. Is it going to be Irel? Good.
No way.
Good. Oh, Dami. Irel.
I don't think so, man.
Irel.
That's never gonna happen.
Irel.
You know something I don't know. I'm like, are you doing that thing where you watch the scrim and you're like, wouldn't it be crazy if they pick Irel and then it comes out and you're like, I'm the smartest caster? Are you doing that, G-Clef?
I never watched her scrims. I never even asked for it, but
I'm not naming any names. I'm just saying. It's gonna be the Sonya again. It's a good matchup into the Dahaka. It's tough to say what good we'll be playing. Sometimes in situations like this, we'd see the Zeratul come out, but I don't think that's actually going to be the case, because that's an old favorite of his. But focusing more on Feliz for the moment, we need their support with the Karazim ban here. It's tough to lock onto the Tracer. Stukov is either disabled or so bugged that he's unusable right now, so that's something I want to put out there for people who need to know. Like, Stukov is, I don't know what the bug is, but there's been a lot of discussion about that, so I think he's actually disabled, so just put him off your list. You know, the Rhaegar pick here doesn't actually feel very tempting, like maybe even just an Uther, yeah.
And
Dragon Blade's back.
Yeah, and leaving because, I think it's because of the Cocoon. They have to think about the Cocoon, which they had struggles opening it last time. The problem will be the Tracer, so they do have the extra protection with the Genji Uther pair up, which can be quite powerful with the Li Ming as well. But is it going to be enough damage to actually break through that Sonya Anubarak front line?
I think that the key is to make sure that Uther can get the Divine Shield off onto Genji before he gets cocooned, so his positioning will need to be really good. Just looking up historically, Liu has played this year 11 games of Uther. It's his second most played next to the Malfurion, so he's got a lot of, he's well versed on the Uther, and it's one of his higher win rates as well. So, not a bad pick here for him. As long as his positioning is good, I don't have a problem with this Uther pick. It'll be very good to have the reset combos with Li Ming and Genji. Very all-in in terms of DPS. We will see the Falstad coming in for Tempest, so probably not going to be a role swap. I imagine it will actually be good, yeah, on the Falstad, as you can see there. So exciting to see kind of some role reversal here, because you have a player that's better at false step, but you have to play lockdown on the Tracer for sure. It ends up being kind of a funny little closing to this draft. Macro versus macro, Dahaka and false step are going to be dueling in that way. I think Tempest didn't get what they wanted. I think they wanted to have the same Hanzo draft. The Hanzo ban was super intelligent. I think OJ's Johanna looked phenomenal last game. I think that there is a real possibility we walk away from this game with a 1-1 scoreline. I think Feliz has a great setup. The draft is really good. But let's see if the execution could be a little bit more consistent this time.
Now, still there from the front line for Tempest with Sonya and Ufora. Can be hard to deal with just leaming damage. I mean, unless Genji has some powerful moments with getting the reset, they have to focus on one target only. They can get the reset, but unless that happens, maybe a little bit too hard for Feliz. I'm still thinking about that.
I think the game just insanely snowballs for Feliz if they win it. If they lose it, it looks sad. Yeah, we saw OJ raising his hand earlier, so no surprise there's a pause here. We've been a little bit unlucky with the technical difficulties this week, haven't we?
I know. Also,
last week, yeah, or
yesterday,
last season was smooth.
Also, yesterday we had one for Tempest as well, right?
Yeah, we had a few. But I'm sure this will be pretty easily resolved with headsets off here.
Let's figure out what is the actual issue.
The guy who's kneeling down there next to his computer is like, dude, you just unplugged the USB. Like, he's like, it doesn't work. You plug it in. OJ's like, what? He's like, I thought it was wireless. No, dude. He's like, oh. No, I don't know what's going on. He's like, I told you it was wireless, right? No, I don't know.
What?
These earbuds were wireless. No. Okay, it seems like it was a sound issue, just based on. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. Like, I'm really just trying to infer.
I know we have
from
no
facial
updates.
expressions.
We have no updates. What's happening? But as you guys can see, 3-2-3 can happen. It is real. Tempest leading the series of best of 5 so far.
Yeah.
You're saying you like the draft from Feliz a little better in game 2?
Yeah, I actually think that I know it sounds weird to hear Wolf say this in 2018, but like I have faith in OJ's Johanna. Like I really think he's going to make it again difficult for Lockdown's Tracer to find a lot of value. And on this battleground, you do a lot of running around, and there's a lot more laning than there is on other battlegrounds. So it's last time like they had to come to Tempest. Like Tempest was like, I'm on the shrine, you have to fight. But in this case, they don't have to. In fact, they can actually force a lot of the fights themselves with the wave clear they have that's better. With Johanna, like Falstad makes it, you know, there's a little bit of an argument there depending on how this draft ends up being utilized, like where they end up using the Falstad. But the Johanna makes it a lot more comfortable for Feliz to play a game where they're never really losing camps, and for Tempest to force a fight, they have to go in deep. So that's something I'm, you know, kind of looking at saying, if Tempest wants to get value out of this Tracer, it needs to be early now, and then the later the game goes, I don't know if it'll be as easy, especially post 10, where Genji is going to be able to, you know, do massive damage. We did see Dami Sonya very well sustained, and if Dami is able to live forever and then constantly with Sign prevent the resets from happening from leaving, it's going to be tough. Uh oh, this is not a good start.
Oh.
Sorry, Hanan.
Even the Beatles. Oh, actually gets a kill from Genji coming from the side. I guess they didn't get to see Tutu when they were rotating up.
I wasn't looking on the man map either, man. I didn't see him either.
He was off to the side. I thought maybe they had a hint.
Was he in? Was he like in the night camp area and then he jumped over?
No, he was actually on the left, in between the fort, top fort, and the night camp area.
Okay,
so
just
off to the side where they can't actually get a vision of him.
Okay, so that makes more sense then. They're gonna rush this camp too. Look at this Aimer and Dudu leashing on the side. This is one of the cool things about Johanna too as a tank, is she just allows you to go like, yeah, we want this camp and we want it now. You just get it. Like, if you get a pick like that, the camp is actually yours, you get it.
And they need to. They don't have anyone like Hanzo or Sonya to actually like solo camp. If they lose the timing on the macro, it's going to be really hard later on. So they started early. I like this choice after they get a kill.
Like, look at the map. Like, look at the lanes. Like, Johanna is top. OJ wants to hold this. They want to actually get a lot of value out of this night camp.
Because they spent a lot of time, but ooh, body block from Aimer.
Okay, Sign ends up hitting the Iron Skin again, but the root is good. They're trying to turn it though. This could be disastrous. Oh, the orb goes wide. If that hits Dami, he might have gotten a reset there. Close call.
Still before 7, so Laming does not have super massive instant damage.
So Feliz has lane swapped themselves into a losing matchup though. Look at the bottom lane. They've lane swapped themselves into the Falstad solo lane. So Dami crushes the camp, and now Good just annihilates Hanaten in the 1v1. As long as he does not get tongue grabbed, he will bully this forever, or until, you know, rotations happen. As you see here, they're going to switch back. As, you know, this is a very losing matchup for Dahaka. I liked the ideas of what they were doing, and it looked like they wanted to force fights on their terms again, which is what I think they're trying to do with this draft, but it didn't work. They didn't get those kills on the top lane. And now we go back to a normal game.
And they also didn't get to push any of the top lane with their camp, with their night camp, early night camp, what they were trying to, as they spent all that time after the kill to control the macro, and that's all neutralized by the rotation from Tempest. They didn't really lose anyone, and Good is still here. They have the global as well, so they control pretty well right now. Hanaten alone, soaking. It's a little bit weird of a rotation. Tempest actually not making any move after that.
Okay, OJ's coming up. He actually used the shield glare to dismount, but he revealed himself, and that means that the dem was easily avoided. They had the night camp here and the spell armor, so this is not going to be favorable for Feliz. And remember, Falstad's global, so he just wins this. Like, Feliz is playing Chinese right now, man. They're trying to roam around and get kills. And kind of a defensive posturing when Tempest is extended, but they telegraph that super hard with the shield glare, and Falstad's just like, hello, like, free soak?
Yeah,
my name is Good,
down.
I like to get experience.
Yeah, Genji's going down now, but if Falstad actually holds it and Sonya does come down, they're doing some damage onto Johanna for now. And channeling.
It's always OJ who eats the pulse bomb, which is like, you know, if you're trying to win a longer team fight, it's important, but that...
Ooh, solo kill from Dudu.
That was not what was supposed to happen. He already used Deflect to get the kill,
And
so...
no pulse bomb.
Oh! No!
Eat that!
No!
Lockdown!
No! Oh!
That just happened!
Oh my god! Oh my god, Dudu! He wants more! Sign, I'm sorry, man. You need to leave. Here comes the Falstad, though. He gets the stun. They try to turn it. Dudu's got the deflect, but they get the Dragon Knight. This double squat.
He has a Swift Strike as well, and Hanaten comes in. They want more than the Dragon Knight. They're going for another kill.
This is greedy, but here comes Aimer, and the resets. He's gonna get one. Misses Good there, but eventually the orb explodes. They get two, and Feliz turns this game on its head. The power of Genji, man, and the power of Dudu's control and mastery of this hero. I almost lost it on broadcast just now. Oh my god.
I know, we were saying in their previous match, when he was playing the mages, it doesn't really fit him. He never really showed us playing mages, and we couldn't really trust him. And his positioning was like a Genji, so he was dying all the time getting pulse bomb. But in this case, when he's on his favorite hero, where he can play the best, like this, he can actually turn things around and make it into Dragon Knight plus kills for Feliz.
It was
3 levels ahead just for now.
Fantastic, fantastic play. Now he's gonna get another kill on Adami, or looks for another kill on Adami, I should say. I'm not actually gonna grab it. Spoke too soon on that one. He's holding X Strike. Oh, the shield misses so close.
OJ's shield actually missed a lot in game 1 and 2. And something that...
Hey, you can't say a lot in game 2. That's the first one.
No, I'm combining it game 1 and 2 together.
Okay. Oh my... Wow, I mean... Chikov, now you're just being mean.
I do like OJ. He's a great guy.
His Johanna is really good, and I actually let me do a quick check on my stats here because I feel like he hasn't really played it that much. He played it 4 times this year.
So 6 times, including this game.
Yeah.
Anton took a little bit, does deal a lot of damage. Already burrowed, so can't be using that. Another one.
Lockdown is in trouble. Dudu's here. Okay. Sign is able to turn the cannon towers to his attention instead of Lockdown.
And great cocoon. Dudu was about to get the kill. And he's actually holding that.
I think it makes sense because of his playstyle and
X-Strike?
Yeah. I think the X-Strike could actually turn a fight with how much he's roaming with the Genji.
But that basically means the D-Shield has to go on Li Ming then.
I mean, it doesn't have to go on anybody, right? I mean, I think like you will get less value out of Genji with the Divine Shield. I agree with you in that regard. I just think and I think teams will do this way more often. Like, look at Valkyria. Like, there's no reason to lock it in until you're sure that in that fight you need it for the first time you want to use it. He does lock it in now, but I guess he's just impatient and they're about to hit 13, so he doesn't want to be like stuck talentless for a while. Well, I think teams should be holding more than they are now because there's always that possibility that X-Strike is going to save him in that fight that you know is the turning point, or you know he needs to lock in that Dragon Blade, or maybe he gets an extra kill from the X-Strike because he's been so close to getting these kills. Like I love the hold there. No reason to lock it in until he absolutely needs to.
Still holding that 2-level lead. Macro, they lost. They lost Hamilton, but there was a big rotation from Tempest, and it actually took a long enough time for Feliz to push the bottom side a little more. They're actually trying to gank onto Falstad right now. We got to see that bottom.
Yeah. Yo, Falstad. Iron Skin.
This Blessed Shield actually landed.
Yep. Iron Skin actually means that you get away. It'll just cleanse onto Aimer. Meant that only Liu was knocked away. That was a pre-cleanse there. Very well played by Liu on the Uther. So both of them stay. They get the kill onto good. Can not live long enough? No. But, like, he doesn't need to. Actually, they don't need to hold this shrine. They're going to rotate up and look for this fight. Tempest should be leaving, I think.
45.
They should be leaving.
They're 13.
Yeah.
OJ comes from the side. Lockdown still on.
Flight.
Check mark a little bit.
Flight should be available for Falstad, but it's going to take him a little while. Pulse Bomb misses. Here comes the Flight.
No gush.
No gust, as you say.
OJ Iron Skin already locked out. Maybe looking for the kill Dami. Just spinning all around right now.
That's when you lock in the Tranquility. You want that sustained healing. Dudu's got the Blade and the Divine Shield, but he can't 1v4. It's not going to happen. He needs to use the Blade to get out. Lockdown's here to intercept. He will go down, and Liu will go down with him. Oh, or maybe he just gets the kill there. Dudu.
Ooh, Tracer dies.
Yeah, Dudu gets the kill.
The camera.
There's just too much going on for Observer to catch here with Dudu just outclassing everyone who exists in this game. Outclassing me. He's like, how dare you claim my death off screen. Still a huge win for Tempest. OJ was very low, so couldn't really do much peeling. And the Tranquility was the right choice in that moment.
He ate a lot when he was rotating up, getting speared by Sonya and also pulse bomb from Tracer as well. So this is a great chance for Tempest to come back in as still a lead from Feliz. As look at that, 3-4, 3 keeps. Everything's up now. Time to take those delicious EXP.
Yeah, get that comeback experience. Top 4's going to go down to minions. So that's going to be the first step. They are dealing with this pretty well so far. Dudu trying to beat Johanna here, but does get kicked in the end. Trying to dodge that with his cyber agility. They only get a wall with this. And in fact, Hanan saves the top 4 for now. This is not what they wanted out of this Dragon Knight. They wanted more, but they don't have a lot of siege. They have Falstad and Tracer, so they don't have poke to really do more than what this Dragon Knight offers. You know, in terms of melee attacks. Right now, it's going to go down. This kick for OJ actually allows him to Blessed Shield engage. Maybe. Nope, he's caught here. That was like the really important moment, is how does OJ use that shield. They do get the top fort, and
Genji just Genjis.
I don't know what happened here.
T-Tour
is today, man. You know, put him in the chat. I don't know what else to say. Tempest takes the lead. They get the fort through that kill. They get 16. Well, Tempest has had, you know, they've had their moments, but it's been a rough series for them.
Yeah, and a massive comeback as well. Feliz, I think the moment they had a 4v5 on top, they just thought, oh, there's no way of losing this. We have one more member. Let's just go in without a plan and try to destroy them. And Tempest, they had false that in the flight. It was a 5v5 actually. In 2 seconds, they thought they were winning, but right after, they were in bad positioning. They had no way of returning home.
Yeah, it's... I like how Tempest operates. Like, they operate as if the assumption is everyone is going to play perfect, and they're all on the same page. Like, they really are. But again, it feels like they think about only like what could be if they all play perfectly, but they never think about what the counterplays could be. Like, their setups are great, their ideas are phenomenal, but then sometimes Feliz is just like, like, you remember I'm Dudu, right? Like, you remember that, like, this is not just your Hero League game. This is actually, you know, a top-tier team in Korea. I mean, by that I mean they're in the Pro League, right? Like, Feliz is not a top-tier HGC Korea team, but a team that's looking very coordinated thus far this season. Much more so today than in their series on Friday. Tempest is just trying to soak, you know, what they can while there's no objective on the map. They just keep a 1-level lead. They can't take a talent tier advantage, but Falsette's going to grab this Sun Shrine. The Moon Shrine's already taken. So Feliz is rotating around to make sure that they cannot unleash. Hanaten can go up there and try to retake that. It's going to be a bad matchup for the Dahaka in the 1v1, but because they have the camp, it's very difficult for Good to contest, especially with Genji up there. So they retake the top shrine.
Yeah, Good is now being really careful with his positioning, not really going too forward. Staying with the fort all the time because they don't see Genji for the longest time right now.
Also on the aimer, but like he gets the armor from Uther. He's not really that concerned. So that's a cooldown burn here. It's gonna have to be refarmed.
A spot Dudu now. And
Blessed Shield could be a really nice initiation here if they split up too much. Like, this is really scary. Look at Sign and Dami. They're cut off. This could be the moment. Here's the Condemn. Will they commit to the Blessed Shield?
They don't have Genji next to them.
Very true.
So they were just thinking to push them out with the pressure. Because they lost the top. They have to keep the bottom one. So for Dehaka, actually, Broshdock's down here.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a miscall.
Yeah, I think so. Looks like they were really concerned about getting Dragon Knighted, and they wanted to just make sure they could hold the Moon for sure. But, you know, since they're rotating up mid now and they're leaving him bottom, it ends up being not too terrible. It's kind of a weird proxied wave for Feliz as well, so it's hard for Good to actually soak the bottom lane right now.
But
now, okay, this is going to be the fight. They get the drag. This is what they're looking for. Good's in trouble.
Another shield in the air, but that's okay.
Cleanse came in, Gust is used.
But Genji's on top though. Do they really want to open fight? 4v5.
Okay, this is going to be a rough situation for Tempest now because, as you say, Genji was not here. It looks like they're just trying to force these mini fights and avoid and always control one shrine and hope that they'll eventually catch up to 20. But if they keep trading evenly like this, they're basically guaranteeing that Tempest gets 20 first. They're saying basically like, I don't want to lose both shrines ever, so we're just going to play, you know, Ring Around the Rosie merry-go-round here and hope to catch up in experience. But if Tempest is also just matching the rotations because they also have a global, even if you keep trading these shrines, eventually they're going to hit 20 and you're going to lose that fight, especially because these trades are not heroic efficient. You know, like they used Divine Shield, Blessed Shield, they used everything in that last fight. They control the shrines for now, but it's very short-lived. And Tempest has control of this camp, and they're just pushing closer and closer to 20.
Just buying time for now as they are focusing a little bit more onto OJ. We'll have the Cocoon out with the leaving.
Blessed Shield's here, but here's the flight. Oh, perfect Gust.
Great Gust into the perfect combo.
Dudu, though, doing a lot of damage with Dragon Blade. Where's that Divine Shield? Uther is dead, but Dudu's trying to do what he can. It's just too much healing coming out here from Hyde's Tranquility as well. That is very likely to be game here, as that will be the team fight that ends 20 for Tempest. They lock it in. Gives Anubrock the rewind. Aimer the last man standing. He's not going to be able to get resets. Everyone's back up to full health.
That was a beautiful Gust.
Yeah.
making sure they are about to go in, pulling everyone off, and Hyde actually putting that entangling root off to the side, predicting where the guts is going to be.
Really well played here by Tempest. A decisive moment there at the end. Feliz, I think, shuffling their feet a little bit in the late game despite having what was pretty flawless of an early game. Tempest wins game 2. They will go to match point, but if you're a Tempest fan, I think you're still a little bit concerned about how close their last 5 games have been. You know, these are games that should have, in theory, been a lot more one-sided. And yet there are small mistakes, and it seems to always be the overextension. And I like the new playstyle of Good. They've clearly relegated him to be the split soaker offlaner. We're having that more shift towards a 1-3-1 meta, where you have the off-soak DPS, not just the melee solo laner. And he looked good on the fall stat. He had that setup. But some of those fights in the early game, Feliz just dominated due to the fact that Tempest gave them opportunities to do so by overextending. I want to point out, you know, Lockdown's damage, again, not incredibly high on the Tracer in this composition. He's somewhat limited in what he can do. And part of the reason why he has so high damage in general, I mean, he would be lower if it wasn't a Johanna that he kept sticking, getting that damage, right? He got the hero damage on the stats screen, but not the kills he was looking for. 2-7 and 2. And that's where Lockdown finishes on this Tracer they've been forcing.
Even with the D-Shield, Genji's Dragon Blade, where he can just swing all through, but Hyde was actually holding in his heroic at the same time. The moment he locked in that Dragon Blade, he had that Tranquility, which was healing just enough for the damage of the Dragon Blade, so that he wouldn't get too many resets where he's just going to destroy the team fight. That didn't really happen too many because of the perfect timing on Hyde's Tranquility. I like that as well.
Yeah, the if you look at the Genji stats as well, he's 4, 3, and 2. Like, he's 7 of 8 kills. Like, when you look at the stats screen, I think it's often misleading. And don't be that guy in Hero League who's like, wow, Genji, look at Genji's hero damage. Like, oh my god, he's what's losing us the game. It's the impact that you make. When you put someone's health to 0, that's actually all that matters. How much you do and what your damage output is just an indicator of what you were able to do. How many times you're able to hit heroes with abilities and auto attacks. That's all the hero damage means on the stat screen. But what Dudu's impact was in the game in terms of those solo kills and how he changed the macro by killing Falstad solo, converting a kill onto his top lane into a trade, things like that, that's like what you really want to look at, not just the hero damage alone. So, look to be really, really great Genji. I think that we may see Tempest first ban it instead of the Garrosh next game.
Yeah, I think Garrosh is still worth banning. Depending on the battleground, they may just, if it's like something like BOE, where he will just try to go for the fountain, maybe just ban that Genji or take it away. Oh, they're likely to have the second pick.
Yeah,
though, so
depends on what battleground they choose, because if they could also just pick a battleground where if like Genji is less relevant, like for example BOE, where Genji just isn't as strong in the early stages of the draft, where like Hanzo's more prioritized.
Yeah, you can also do that. I think Tempest is still feeling a little bit shaky, not too much, just a little bit of shaky because they are changing Good and Dami, just solo laning back and forth, depending on the hero, depending on the draft they do. They can also, what they did before was like putting Sign on Tracer and Lockdown on tank even sometimes, which didn't really work, and then they eventually turned it back to Sign being on that tank all the time, and then Lockdown on that Tracer, who seems okay as well. So they are going to keep on having this adjustment until I think their big match is coming up soon in the next coming weekends. I think before that, they're trying to just adjust and have that adaptation just to feel how the draft actually goes for them.
Yeah, there's always room to experiment in the first few weeks, especially when your first 2 matches are where you're massively favored, right? In this case, so especially today against Feliz, but you know, it's not been reassuring for Tempest fans who want to see Tempest go back to first place, just like we saw in part 1 of Phase 1. We're not there yet. They're still 2-0 up. We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, game number 3.